Welcome back. So when we last left off, I was working to flush out this turbo because I was under the impression that oil had coked up inside of it. And after flushing it through with a bunch of acetone, I've actually figured out that the seal was broken and the oil was just leaking into that compressor section there. So pulled it out and wanted to evaluate it a little bit more and see exactly what was going on. And this is what I discovered. So that's the seal there inside the turbo that failed, or part of it, the little rubber seal, and that separates this internal oil section here from the compressor side. So when that blew out, the all the pressure in the compressor side came back through the oil housing here and basically just vented into the sump of the engine, and that started the engine slowing down. Then of course the ECU didn't turn on idle mode because I had the throttle at 50%. That's something I still need to figure out, how I can make sure that comes on if the engine RPM comes down below about 1100 RPM. So anyway, that's what happened with this turbo. So I've got a new center there, as you can see, and I've had that installed already on the compressor side. So anyway, just for future reference for anybody, that's what can happen if you lose oil pressure. Your turbo can blow back into the inside. So I'm going to let go of that now, and that'll disappear back in there. Yeah, so you can see it sort of belongs and seals off this area here on the compressor. And the turbo doesn't spin all that well anymore. You know, it's just kind of got some resistance on there. Whereas the other one, the new one, that spins good. So that's what's going on. So I had to buy a new new center section, which came with the housing here, the compressor housing, but this one was a slightly different one with a larger intake on it, a 4-inch intake, and I got the 3-inch on this one. So I had to change the intakes out, so I had to go to the hydraulic shop here when they had the right tool there for taking out that snap ring there and switching the guts. So anyway, that was the first job with changing out the turbo. Alright, so I've got the new seal in there, and the retaining ring is in there as well, as you can see there. I just had to get it all snugged in enough and made enough by just making sure this was really well seated in there. There was enough clearance in the gap there just to get that in without too much trouble. So anyway, that's that. Alright, so I got the redrive reinstalled and turbo reinstalled. So all that's left to do now is put the prop back on and put the oil in and pre-oil this guy, the redrive. And that's about it. So I'm doing a full oil change, obviously, because there's hardly any oil left in there, but I've got a new filter and everything. So that's pretty much it, and then I can get it outside and fire it up and see how it goes. So I've got everything back together now, prop on and oil in and everything else checked over. So getting ready to take it outside and fire it up. So we'll see how it all goes. Alright, so here goes nothing. And right away I could tell it wasn't right. So pretty much just dragged it inside. And so, after this whole incident, I was able to turn the prop here and everything sounded normal. And right now you can hear I've actually got the glow plugs out because I wanted to take all the compression off so I could check all the cylinders. And when you turn it around, everything sounds fine. No problem at all. I actually put like a bit of tape on the flywheel there so I could see when I'd gone around a full revolution. But if you get it around to a certain point here, and I'll show you, right about there somewhere, and then you just go backwards the other way. A little further. Yeah, right there. And it's super loud picking up on my phone, but you can hear that, and that's basically the connecting rod. It's come loose on piston number 2, and I've basically pulled the glow plugs out, checked the compression on each one just by putting the glow plug back in on each one in turn, and number 2 doesn't have any compression, and I also put like a wire down there, and I can feel that the piston's not going up and down when you're rotating the engine. So probably the wrist pin has broken, and I suspect that actually happened prior to the turbo failing, because that wouldn't have stopped the engine, and because as I said, the engine still turned normally, and it wasn't just by chance that I stepped the engine forward and then backward again just at that one particular spot to get it to actually make that sound. If you just turn the engine forwards, you never hear that connecting rod moving. Anyway, so the gist of all that is that I need to fix that, and the best way to fix it is just to do an engine swap. So I'm in the process of sourcing a replacement engine, and there's several of them already available, or presently available right now, so I'm going to order one tomorrow, Monday, and have that shipped out, and then start taking everything off the existing one ready for the swap. And fortunately, I was the one who assembled all this and did all the mods and stuff to the engine, so I know exactly what needs to be done and how to do it. So that's not the worry. It's probably going to take me about 2 weeks to do it. New engine's going to cost me about $5,000. So and also too, that new turbo ran me about was it $1,400 or something for that center section and the compressor. So yeah, it's a costly mistake, but it is what it is, and I've just got to go through and go through the motions and get it done, so I can get back on with finishing off the 40 hours. Yeah, so it's going to take me about 2 weeks, and then I'll be able to get back up again and do some more of this, and as I said, get the 40 hours done so I can get moved and get on with the production plan. So that's what's going on. A bit of a disappointment, but we'll push on and we'll get it all done. So thanks again for watching, and tune in, and I'll have some video updates as I start doing the engine swap. So we'll see you on those. Cheers.